Tell me, beautiful soul, when the ground fell away beneath your feet and every comforting illusion about your twin flame journey dissolved into stardust, did it feel like punishment? Like the universe had finally decided your heartbreak quota wasn't quite full enough? What if that devastating shattering wasn't the end of your love story, but the brutal, necessary demolition of everything standing between you and the raw, radiant truth of who you actually are? What if the very pain you're clutching like a shattered heirloom is the key to a freedom you've never dared imagine? This isn't just another article about twin flame separation or the virtues of patience. This is about the universe performing radical soul surgery without anesthesia. It's about the moment your carefully curated, divine feminine persona, all flowing acceptance and transcendent understanding, collapses under the weight of its own beautiful lie. That ache you've been spiritualizing, that desperate need for his awakening to validate your existence, that relentless focus on his journey while quietly ignoring the fault lines in your own foundation. The universe just held a cosmic magnifying glass to it. Not to shame you, darling, but to show you the prison you've been decorating with fairy lights and calling enlightenment. The shattering exposed the uncomfortable, rarely whispered secret. Your greatest obstacle to true union wasn't his fear or karma or divine timing. It was the intricate, gilded cage you'd built around your own unclaimed power, disguised as spiritual devotion. This journey asks everything of you. Not your performative spirituality, not your serene mask, but your ferocious, messy, trembling humanity. It demands you trade the comforting weight of the victim's cloak for the terrifying lightness of sovereignty. It asks you to feel the volcanic rage you've capped for lifetimes, not as a destructive force, but as the molten core of your yes to your own worth. It insists you wield the sacred no, not as a weapon against him, but as the unshakable boundary that finally declares your energy a consecrated space, not a communal watering hole. And perhaps most challenging of all, it requires you to dismantle the gleaming altar you've built to high vibes and transcendence, to kneel instead in the sacred dirt of your own unhealed wounds, your fears, your glorious, imperfect humanness. Because the most profound truth the mirror has revealed, the love that transforms galaxies isn't found in the perfectly curated spiritual performance. It's found in the courage to stand, utterly real and unarmored, in the breathtaking vulnerability of your own authentic light. The path ahead isn't about putting the mirror back together. It's about learning to walk steady and sure on the shards, knowing each sharp edge reflects a facet of your own diamond strength you'd forgotten existed. This shattering wasn't the death of your dream, beloved. It was the violent, necessary birth of your truest self. And that self? She doesn't just attract love. She radiates a frequency that rearranges realities, starting with yours. Ready to discover what happens when you stop rebuilding the cage and finally step into the vast, terrifying, magnificent expanse of your own sovereign sky. The most breathtaking part of the journey begins just beyond the rubble. Let's talk about that first soul-shattering truth, beautiful soul, the one about your energetic consent. It sounds almost clinical, doesn't it? Like something you'd sign at a doctor's office. But oh, it's the furthest thing from sterile. This is the molten core of your power. The silent scream finally given voice, the moment your surrender stops looking like waiting and starts feeling like sovereignty. You've been schooled, haven't you? Schooled in the art of the eternal yes. The divine feminine is all receptivity, all holding space, all unconditional love. Bend, don't break, flow like water, and you've tried. Oh, how you've tried. You've held that space until your arms trembled, loved unconditionally while pieces of your own soul felt starved, flowed around his resistance like a river, gently eroding stone. Hoping, always hoping, that your vast ocean of patience would finally cradle him into awakening. It felt spiritual. It felt right. It felt like the ultimate expression of divine love. But the universe shattered that illusion. It didn't shatter it with a hammer, my love. It shattered it by holding up a mirror so stark, so unflinching, that you could not see the exhaustion in your own eyes. The quiet resentment coiling like smoke in your sacred heart space. The way your yes had become less a vibration of power and more a whispered plea. See me, choose me, love me enough to stop running. That mirror reflected a profound, uncomfortable truth. Your unconditional holding had become energetic consent to your own depletion. Imagine your energy as the most fertile, life-giving land, lush, vibrant, capable of nurturing incredible growth. Now imagine someone constantly taking from that land, pulling up crops, diverting streams, trampling the soil, without ever tending it, without ever asking permission, without ever acknowledging the source. Your eternal yes was like leaving the gate perpetually open, the soil untended, saying silently, "Take what you need, even if it leaves me barren." That isn't surrender. That's self-abandonment disguised as divinity. The sacred no, that's you finally building a fence. Not out of malice, but out of a fierce, trembling love for the land itself. It's saying, this ground is holy. It requires reverence. Access is granted only with respect. Imagine your energy as the most fertile, life-giving land, lush, vibrant, capable of nurturing incredible growth. Now imagine someone constantly taking from that land, pulling up crops, diverting streams, trampling the soil, without ever tending it, without ever asking permission, without ever acknowledging the source. Your eternal yes was like leaving the gate perpetually open, the soil untended, saying silently, "Take what you need, even if it leaves me barren." That isn't surrender. That's self-abandonment disguised as divinity. The sacred no, that's you finally building a fence, not out of malice, but out of a fierce, trembling love for the land itself. It's saying, this ground is holy. It requires reverence. Access is granted only with respect. This isn't about punishment. Let's banish that old paradigm right now. This isn't you wielding your no like a weapon to force his hand. That's ego dressed in spiritual drag. The sacred no vibrates at a completely different frequency. It's born not from the need to control him, but from the bone-deep realization of your own intrinsic worth. It's the moment you realize that true divine femininity isn't just about receiving him. It's about receiving yourself fully, your limits, your needs, your non-negotiable requirement for reciprocity, not as a transaction, but as the fundamental rhythm of a healthy conscious connection. It's the ultimate paradox. By withdrawing your consent to be taken for granted, you offer the purest form of love, love that honors both of you. And here's the mystery, the rarely spoken alchemy. This sacred no isn't silence. It's a deafening silence. It's the absence of your familiar energetic hum, the constant background radiation of your hope and patience he'd grown so accustomed to leaning on, perhaps without even realizing it. It's the sudden stillness in the force field where your presence used to be. That's the shattering. Not your words, not your drama, but the profound echoing lack of you pouring energy into a void. Why can he no longer ignore it? Because that energetic vacuum you create isn't empty. It's full of truth. It reflects back to him, starkly and unavoidably, the consequence of his unconsciousness. It's no longer about your pain, your longing, your frustration, things he could perhaps dismiss as her stuff, her oversensitivity, her neediness. Suddenly, it's about his reality. The safety net woven from your eternal yes vanishes. He's left standing on the edge of his own void. He feels the chill of the space where your unwavering energy once was. He's confronted, not with your pleas, but with the stark, silent question hanging in the vacuum. Who are you, truly, when the crutch of my constant availability is gone? It's terrifying, for both of you. For you, because embodying this no feels like cutting off your own lifeline. It requires a trust in the universe and in yourself that feels like stepping off a cliff. You've tied your identity, your sense of purpose, even your spirituality, to being the holder of space, the keeper of the flame. Who are you if you're not doing that? For him, it's terrifying because the comfortable dynamic shatters. His avoidance, his running, his unhealed patterns suddenly land on him. There's no soft landing pad of your endless patience to cushion the fall. He has to feel the full weight of his own choices, his own fears, his own lack of self-containment. Your sacred no holds up a mirror so clear he can no longer look away from his own reflection in the stillness. This isn't manipulation. It's evolution. It's you stepping out of the role of the martyr goddess and into the power of the sovereign queen. Your worth isn't determined by his awakening. Your awakening defines your worth. And sometimes the most divine act of love is to stop pouring your sacred water into a cup that refuses to be held. To turn that water inward and nourish your own roots. To trust that if that cup is ever truly ready, it will find its way back to the source. Not to drain it, but to celebrate it. It's messy. It's uncomfortable. You'll second guess yourself. Am I being harsh? Am I giving up? Is this my ego? Breathe. The sacred no doesn't come from a hardened heart. It springs from a heart so full of love for the truth of the connection that it refuses to participate in the illusion any longer. It's the ultimate act of faith. Faith that real love doesn't require your diminishment. Faith that the universe holds a bigger picture. Faith that you are worth protecting. So feel the weight of that unspoken yes you've been carrying. Feel where it's cost you pieces of your soul. And then feel the power gathering in your core. The power to finally, gently, irrevocably say, no more. Not to him, but to the pattern that diminishes you both. That's when the real magic begins. That's when the universe leans in and whispers. And what happens next, when that sacred silence cracks open a space, not just for your healing, but for a potential reunion on entirely new ground? That's where the second soul-shattering truth ignites. The one about that fire within you he's been so afraid to feel. let's talk about the fire, beautiful soul. Not the cozy hearth fire, not the romantic candle flame. We're talking about the volcano, the one you've spent years, maybe lifetimes, trying to cap, smother, and politely ignore because, well, rage just isn't very divine feminine, is it? We're supposed to be grace personified, all flowing skirts and gentle wisdom, radiating unconditional love like some perpetually serene Buddha under a Bodhi tree made of rainbows. Right? Wrong. The universe just detonated that pretty illusion, and the molten truth bubbling up is this. Your suppressed sacred rage isn't a flaw in your spiritual resume. It's the divine GPS screaming you took a wrong turn on the path of self-betrayal. Think about it. How many times have you swallowed the sharp retort? Smiled through the gut punch of disrespect? Explained away his avoidance with cosmic justifications like, oh, he's just healing his masculine wound, while your own inner feminine warrior was pounding on the walls of your ribs, yelling, enough! You tucked her away, didn't you? Filed her under unspiritual, too much, scary. You mastered the art of the serene facade, while internally pressure built. Like tectonic plates grinding silently beneath a tranquil landscape. That pressure, that's your soul's justice department. It doesn't file paperwork, it erupts. This isn't petty anger because he forgot to call. This isn't blame shifting or victimhood. This is the righteous primal roar that erupts when your core boundaries, the ones etched in your soul, not just scribbled in a self-help book, have been consistently trampled, and you allowed it. That's the real shattering. The universe isn't just showing you his behavior, it's holding up a mirror to your tolerance. Your rage is the seismic signal that you've been loving past yourself, not through yourself. It's the fire alarm your spirit pulls when the building of your self-worth is actively burning down. Why is this truth so rarely spoken? Because it's messy, it's inconvenient, it shatters the love and light aesthetic we've been sold. It requires us to admit that spirituality isn't just floating above the fray, it's diving into the molten core of our own humanity. This rage isn't the opposite of love. It's love's fierce, protective twin. It's the mother bear energy. Imagine the gentlest doe, nurturing soft, but threaten her fawn. Watch that softness ignite into a force that would make a lion think twice. That's your sacred rage. It protects what is most precious, your inherent worth, your right to exist without diminishment, the sanctity of your own being. Now, why can the divine masculine no longer ignore this eruption? Here's the cosmic kicker, the unhealed DM. He's often an Olympic-level avoider. Conflict, emotions, intensity. He'll run marathons to escape that discomfort. He learned to navigate the world by reading the subtle cues of placidity, the calm waters of your eternal yes, your patience, your gentle holding. He might have misinterpreted it as acceptance, even weakness. A green light to continue his patterns, cushioned by the soft landing pad of your endurance. Your silent suffering was background noise he could tune out. But sacred rage, that's a frequency he can't spiritually bypass. It's not a whispered plea, it's a sonic boom in the energetic feel. It vibrates at a pitch that shatters his carefully constructed walls of avoidance. It's raw, uncensored, embodied truth. It doesn't argue with logic, it resonates in his bones. Suddenly, the impact of his actions or soul-crushing inactions isn't an abstract concept discussed over chai tea. It's a visceral, vibrational reality he feels. It lands hard. Your fire becomes an unavoidable mirror, reflecting the real consequence of his unconsciousness, not just your reaction to it. It forces a choice. Step into the fire of his own authenticity and accountability, or finally reveal that he wasn't running towards something, but away from the very power he claims to seek. It's terrifying for him. Absolutely. The comfortable fog of ambiguity lifts, and he's staring straight into the sun of your unapologetic truth. No more hiding behind your quiet pain. Your fire demands he show up, not as the idealized runner, but as the man capable of meeting intensity with integrity. Or not. And that clarity, born from your heat, is the greatest gift, even if it burns. And for you, embodying this rage is equally terrifying. We've been taught good girls don't get angry. Spiritual beings transcend such base emotions, nonsense. Suppressing this fire is what poisons the well. Channeling it, that's alchemy. This isn't about spewing venom or burning bridges, unless that bridge leads straight back to your own diminishment. It's about letting that heat melt the armor around your heart. The armor you built to survive the very patterns that triggered the rage in the first place. It's about the molten core of your being rising up and declaring, I am here, and I refuse to be erased, not even by my own spiritual pretenses. It's vulnerable, it's powerful, it's deeply, profoundly human and divine. Your sacred rage is the forge where the martyr is melted down and the sovereign is reborn. It clears the dead wood, it purifies, it makes space for a love that doesn't require your silence. So stop apologizing for the heat. Stop dousing your own fire because it makes him, or the spiritual bypassing police, uncomfortable. Your rage is holy. It's information. It's the fierce love of your own soul saying, this ends now. Let it roar. Let it cleanse. Let it illuminate the path back to your own unshakable center. And when that fire settles, when the ash of old patterns cools, what fertile ground might it reveal? Ground where something radically new could grow? Well, that's where we stumble upon the third, perhaps most subtle and insidious truth. The one about the masks we wear, even in the name of enlightenment. The truth about how your high vibes might have been the very thing keeping true connection at bay. Let's get uncomfortably honest for a moment. Beautiful soul, we've talked about the sacred no, the volcanic rage. Now we descend into the quietest, most insidious layer of illusion. The one you might be wearing right now like a perfectly tailored spiritual suit. The universe just dropped a truth bomb so subtle, it might not even feel like an explosion at first. More like the slow, dawning horror when you realize the masterpiece you've been polishing isn't a diamond, but a meticulously cut piece of ice. It's melting, and beneath it, something raw, real, and terrifyingly alive. This is the shattering of your spiritual bypassing. The revelation that your relentless pursuit of high vibes wasn't lifting you towards union. It was building an energetic force field made of spiritual pretense, keeping the very connection you craved perpetually out of reach. Think about it. How many hours have you spent visualizing the perfect reunion? Meditating on his awakening? Analyzing his journey, his blocks, his karma like some cosmic detective, while quietly sidestepping the gnawing ache in your own chest? How often have you plastered on the serene smile, declared, "I'm transcending the 3D," or "I'm holding the frequency of union," while secretly feeling like a fraud, because inside the old wounds, the fear of abandonment, the desperate need for his validation, the crushing doubt whispering, "What if I'm not enough?" still throbbed like a fresh bruise? You weren't lying, not consciously. You were bypassing. Using the beautiful language of ascension, the potent tools of manifestation, the focus on his spiritual progress, as a dazzlingly sophisticated avoidance strategy for your own unhealed shadow. This isn't about failing at spirituality. This is about the universe exposing a profound, rarely spoken paradox. Your most fervent attempts to be divine can become the very barrier to experiencing divine connection. Why? Because true connection thrives on authenticity, not altitude. Think of it like this. Imagine trying to tune two radios to the same station. One radio, you in bypass mode, is broadcasting a recording of perfect static-free music, meticulously engineered, flawless on the surface. The other radio, the divine masculine, or frankly, any real connection, is scanning the airwaves for a live signal. Raw, maybe a little crackly, imperfect, but pulsating with genuine life. Which signal do you think resonates? Which one feels real? Your polished recording might sound perfect, but it lacks the vital spark, the unpredictable hum of being. It's a performance, and deep down, energetically, he felt it. He felt the dissonance between your radiant love and light declaration and the unspoken tremor of fear, the hidden hunger for his presence to validate your worth, the subtle vibration of neediness masquerading as unconditional love. The shattering happens when the universe pulls the plug on your spiritual sound system. Maybe it's a trigger you can't rationalize away, a wave of grief that crashes through your carefully constructed Zen, or simply the exhausting weight of maintaining the facade finally becoming too much. The ice cracks, the recording skips, and suddenly you're not broadcasting perfection, you're broadcasting you, the messy, scared, uncertain, human you, the one who hasn't transcended her abandonment wound. She's just learned to talk about it in enlightened terms. The one whose self-containment was really just a well-disguised waiting room for his arrival. This is the soul-shattering truth. Your focus on him, on the connection, on the cosmic timeline, was often a brilliant, unconscious diversion from doing the terrifying embodied work of healing the core vulnerabilities within yourself that this journey relentlessly mirrors back to you. He wasn't just your twin flame, he was the world's most accurate, most frustratingly elusive mirror. So why can the divine masculine no longer ignore this shift when the bypassing crumbles? Because authenticity has a frequency that cuts through the spiritual noise like a hot knife. The unhealed DM is often hyper-attuned to incongruence. He spent a lifetime avoiding real emotional intensity, often by fleeing from anything that feels unstable, needy, or demanding. Your spiritual bypassing, despite its high vibe language, emitted a subtle frequency of inauthenticity, a kind of spiritual static. It wasn't grounding, it was floatin', untethered. It didn't feel like a safe harbor, it felt energetically slippery, unreal. He couldn't quite trust it, couldn't lean into it, because subconsciously he sensed the unhealed fear vibrating beneath the surface. It didn't inspire him to rise, it subconsciously reinforced his avoidance. See, even she's not really solid. It's all just talk. But when that ice melts, when you stop performing enlightenment and start embodying your messy, magnificent humanity, when you courageously descend from the spiritual pedestal you built and sit in the ashes of your own unmet needs, your fears, your codependencies, owning them without shame or spiritual justification, that's when your energy shifts dramatically. It drops from the heady, untouchable heights and anchors deep into the fertile soil of your being. You emit a frequency of raw, authentic integrity. It's not always pretty. It might be tear-streaked. It might be uncertain. It might roar with the newly integrated sacred rage, or whisper with the strength of the sacred no. But it's real. It's congruent. It vibrates with a grounded power that's impossible to ignore. This authenticity is unnerving to the unhealed divine masculine. Why? Because suddenly, the mirror you hold up isn't reflecting his faults at him through a lens of your unmet needs. It's simply reflecting him, clearly and without agenda, against the backdrop of your own genuine self-containment. Your realness exposes his unrealness. Your vulnerability becomes a stark contrast to his emotional unavailability. He can no longer project his own avoidance onto your spiritual neediness because you're not needy in that old, draining way. You're whole, even in your brokenness. You're present, you're authentic. And that authenticity demands, without saying a word, that he either step into his own matching truth or finally admit he prefers the comfort of his illusions. Your shattered spiritual mask reveals the radiant, imperfectly perfect face beneath, and that is the reflection he can no longer run from. It's the most humbling shattering of all. Admitting you used spirituality itself as a shield. But oh, the liberation. To finally put down the exhausting work of maintaining the image and just be. To trade the brittle perfection of the ice crystal for the warm, messy, life-giving flow of the river. This is where true power resides. Not in transcending your humanity, but in embracing it fully, shadows and all. This is where the real high vibe begins. The vibration of unapologetic authenticity. So let the last shard of that spiritual pretense fall. Step into the glorious, unedited mess of being you. That's where the connection you truly crave, grounded, real, and divinely human, finally becomes possible. Because the most magnetic force in the universe isn't perfection, it's the courage to be perfectly, sacredly real. And isn't that the fertile ground where true miracles finally take root? So here you stand, beloved, amidst the wreckage of all you thought this journey would be. The sacred scripts you memorized have burned to ash. The maps you trusted now lead only to the edges of yourself. That relentless ache in your chest. It isn't the absence of him, it's the presence of you, finally emerging from the chrysalis of old stories, damp-winged and trembling in this new, unfiltered light. This is where the magic happens, not in the carefully curated visions of reunion, but in the quiet, seismic shift of your own becoming. That mirror didn't crack to punish you. It shattered to reveal the infinite reflections you'd been too afraid to face. The unclaimed rage, it wasn't a flaw in your spiritual resume, it was the dormant dragon of your sovereignty, shaking off centuries of slumber. The sacred no, not a rejection of love, but the first fierce syllable of a deeper yes, to yourself, to truth, to a love that doesn't ask you to shrink. and those glittering shards of your spiritual bypassing. They weren't failures. They were the necessary kindling for a more authentic fire. Think of a diamond, how it's formed under crushing pressure, how its brilliance depends on the precise angles of its facets. Your heart is no different. Every fracture, every seeming betrayal, every night spent howling at the moon has been the universe's way of cutting you into something impossibly radiant. Not for him, not for some future version of this connection, for you. Because the love you've been aching for wasn't ever hiding in his awakening. It was buried in the raw, unpolished depths of your own. And here's the secret they don't tell you. The twin flame journey was never about finding your missing half. It was about realizing you were never broken to begin with. Those soul-shattering truths, they weren't walls. They were bridges. Bridges back to yourself, to the part of you that knows, bone deep, that no runner could ever outdistance a love that's truly meant for you. To the part that understands the most sacred reunion was always the one between your soul and its own unshakable worth. So breathe, darling. The ground beneath you isn't gone, it's just expanding. Those tears, they're not drowning you. They're watering the seeds of a new beginning you can't yet imagine. And that flicker of hope you're afraid to name? It's not naivety. It's your soul whispering the first verse of a story you've always known, but are only now brave enough to live. The illusions had to break. The truth had to burn. The love you've been waiting for. It wasn't waiting for him. It was waiting for you to recognize it in yourself. Now, tell me, Radiant One, what happens when you stop staring at the shattered glass beneath your feet and finally notice how it catches the light?